You heard it here first, Mark Zuckerberg. I challenge you to any type of match. In fact, if you want, we could do like the first round, just boxing, the second round, Muay Thai and boxing, or and the third round, Jiu-Jitsu only, or all mixed up. Whatever you want to do. And if I win, you can never put me on shadow banned or IG or Facebook jail or anybody that I know that I complained to you about, and you have to change that. And if I lose, you can ban me from all your social media platforms.
Created live on Fireside.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Athletic Definition. I'm your host, Coach Ray Z, covering the latest in sports and fitness around the world. It's a jam-packed show today. I'm going to be covering football, some baseball, fitness fads, are earbuds bad for your hearing? Plus, I'm going to be challenging a famous social media icon to a fight. Be sure to stick around to the very end to find out who it is. I've got a lot of requests for me to cover some baseball. How come I never cover baseball? And to be honest with you, I don't really like baseball too much. I do like the playoffs, but only when the Dodgers are playing. So my baseball recap for the week is the Dodgers are in first place. Right now they're tied 5-5, and that's all I have for you on baseball. Moving on. A dad choked out a driver in Florida who was throwing racial slurs at him, and basically he was with his girlfriend and his daughter, and turns out he's a martial artist. They wouldn't say what type of martial artist, but the guy who was throwing racial slurs at him because he's black, he, according to the article on Yahoo News, and it was in the Miami Herald actually, and they reposted it. The guy got out of the car when they got to a red light, and tried to take a couple swings at him, and he defended himself and ended up choking out the guy. As you know, I love it when the bad guys gets what's coming to them. I always stress train martial arts for anything. You never know what's going to happen, especially right now with the economy. A lot of more robberies, car thefts. If they have a gun, if you could walk away from it, if you could talk your way out of it, even better. But if it comes down to it and they don't have a knife or a gun, at least you have the advantage. Even if you train it for a little while, like something like jujitsu. So definitely highly recommend it. Vox is they have a good YouTube channel overall, do good little mini documentaries. And then besides that, they write pretty good articles. So this girl wrote in, if you guys know, I love music, fitness tech, and all that. So she said that she uses her earbuds to sleep, which to me, I find it extreme, but I guess I could see it if you use meditation apps or music to fall asleep, which a lot of people do now. Zoom calls. She pretty much has them on 24 hours a day. So she wanted to know if they're damaging your ears and also if the style of headphones make a difference between earbuds or say the type that I'm wearing right now, which if you're only listening to this, it's the ones that go around your head or over your head. And according to an audiologist from the University of Colorado, it doesn't really matter if they're inside your ear or outside of your ear. It really comes down to the volume. So he calls it the 80-90. You can safely listen to it at 80% of the max volume for 90 minutes per day. If you listen at a choir level, you can listen to it louder levels. If you're listening at 60% maximum volume or generally lower, you can listen to it all day, according to him. The article goes on to more, so if you do want to read the whole article, it'll be in the show notes. And then I did a show I don't know, maybe like 10 episodes back on hiking the Narrows. And I was going to do a perspective on it and release it on my other channel, which I recorded and I edited it for like 2 days, 3 days, and then I lost it. So I never released it. But if you go back and you listen to the podcast version of it, I kept stressing about flash floods and flash floods. And I almost felt like I was being a dad, like, hey, I don't want to be a party pooper, but be careful about flash floods. In Las Vegas, there was flash floods, which is rare. And when you start seeing things like that, you have to be watching the weather if you're going to be hiking. Well, a woman from Arizona, 29 years old, went hiking at the Narrows National Park, which can be very dangerous. Uh, if you have no idea about what it is to have a flooding, maybe you've seen it. And it's a good time because it's a good time to remind people who go hiking. Amazon just came out with it's called 13 Lives, which is a story of the 13 or it was 12 players from Thailand and their coach who was 25. The boys I think range from 11 to 16. So they just did a movie, but it's also been done previously called The Rescue, and it looks like it had been done maybe one more time. And if that doesn't give you an idea, there's some good, I think it's called Backpacking TV on YouTube, and some guy caught themselves in a flash flood. And as I was looking into it, I'm probably going to do it more because it is pretty strange how national parks don't keep track of how many deaths. But just me kind of looking into flash flood deaths, it's been quite a few people. So I'm going to look into that. But definitely, if you're going to go hiking, I mean, if if you if you can avoid it, then definitely avoid hiking even at all. I know sometimes we may plan a vacation, go from a different state, but you'd rather be able to hike again than to get caught in a flash flood within minutes. I can't remember the height that they can go, but pretty much they can cost your life. And the video that I was watching of the hiker, they couldn't move. They were trapped. And it's just like a giant waterfall landing on you. And he said about after 45 minutes of being under there, he started getting the early stages of hyperthermia, which I've had before, and it doesn't feel good. But then at the same time, if you try to move, you could be swept away and die. So they were in a dangerous situation. They lucked out because there was a break in the water, and they only needed 35 feet to be safe, but they finally got that break and they were able to make it to safety and they were happy. And the guy who was talking in the videos, and I'm going to see if I could reach out to him. He said it was his dumb idea that almost got him killed, his brother killed, and his two best friends. So you definitely want to look at the weather. Can't stress that enough. Hiking should be a time to have fun, to go on a vacation, not to have your family mourn the loss of you because you were stubborn and went hiking when you knew that there could be flash floods. Or if you never heard of flash floods, this is a good like heads up for you. And an article came out that why do we keep falling for fitness fads? And the article started off with like Billy Blanks, and I do remember Billy Blanks being really, really popular. And I see him now at the fitness expos. You could train with him, but back in the day, it was like Brooke Shields and Magic Johnson, and it was like a line for a couple hours of people who just wanted to train with him. And now, it's come and it's gone. There's also been like Brinkham Yoga, CrossFit, and running. You got the barefoot running, the minimalist running, and going back to Suzanne Summers and Thigh Master 6 minute apps. I mean, it goes on and on and on. It's really just like a marketing. That's why sometimes when I see the commercials, I think they're funny. You could be like, do this for 90 days and we guarantee results. And I say you could pretty much do anything for 90 days and get results. It might be expensive depending on what you're buying. If that keeps you motivated, I say why not as well. But reading the article, it seemed that most people just kind of quit because they got hurt. And the trends will keep coming and going, from, like I said, TRX to martial arts to everything. But if you get hurt doing it, it usually takes you out for like maybe 8, 9 months. And then it's harder for you to even start training if you can't get that consistency. So definitely look into what you're buying, like those barefoot minimalist shoes. Most people aren't feet aren't strong enough to even use them. And then they try and go out and use them like normal shoes. And then they really can damage you in that way if you're not careful. So that pretty much goes with any product. You have to be aware of how to use it, not to overuse it, because when some people are just moving from fad to fad instead of being consistent with working out, there's more chance to get hurt because you probably don't work out too often. And if, like I say, if it's a fad that gets you motivated to work out, I'm not knocking it, but just be aware that you could be injured. It's kind of like the guy who just doesn't really do anything and then goes and plays basketball and pulls a ligament, or the guy who just decides to play turkey bowl on Thanksgiving with the family and hasn't done any activity and ends up getting hurt. That's the kind of risk you're putting yourself into it. If you want to take that risk, go for it if you have pretty good insurance, but overall, I don't recommend it at all. And if you love football as much as I do, I worked as a bookie in Las Vegas, taking sports bets. I've been playing fantasy football for over 20 years. And so I'm going to have a new show only here on Fireside. It's called The Football Examiner. You can come up, tell me about your team, why you're picking them, why you like them. I'll be going over the picks every week. So if you love football, it's called The Football Examiner. The first show is going to be on September 1st. It's a Thursday, and I'll be previewing the games, probably giving some point spreads, talking some fantasy football as well, because the day before I'll be doing my draft. So I'll break down my team, and you're welcome to come up and talk about any of that. Even some college football, though I know nothing about college football because I don't really watch it, even though the fans to me seem really exciting because it's usually their alma mater or their current students. So they seem more rowdy, more into it, more just the college games, as far as the fans, seem really exciting. They're always happy, and in the NFL, it depends. And then you got your true hardcore fans, like in Cleveland or in Buffalo, that are there in the snow. So you can't knock those people either. But usually in college, it's a lot more pride because of their school. And in football, you can't really say that unless the Green Bay Packers are the only publicly traded team, and if you own a percentage of them, then the rest are just owned by rich billionaires. Speaking of the fads of fitness, in the 80s, Richard Simmons was big, and I guess there's a new documentary coming out of him. So he kind of disappeared from what I was reading from TMZ. It was saying that basically he had knee problems and he had a knee replacement surgery that got him depressed, that had him put on weight. So he basically just kind of stepped out of the limelight for that reason. Today he did his first post and I don't know how long, just pretty much thanking everybody for their support. That guy was huge, and I'm sure he made a lot of money back when he was. I'm sure he lasted more than a decade, which in the fitness world that's pretty hard to do. So I'm glad that at least he seems to be in better spirits. And yeah, for me being so active, being bit with a dog on 4th of July, I was doing good. Thought I could come back. I ended up getting an infection, so still haven't worked out. I understand how you could easily get depressed by not being able to do what you love or something that's part of your life. Joe Rogan had Mark Zuckerberg, Meta Zuckerberg, as I like to call him, and he started training MMA about 12 months ago. Mr. Zuckerberg, I officially challenge you to a jiu-jitsu match, a boxing match, or an MMA match. I know you've only been doing it for 1 year, so I think I have a good shot. I think you're bigger than me, but I want to represent all the people that you've banned on Facebook or blocked on Facebook, or even myself, put me on IG jail, or just haven't shown my stories because I add a link, which is a feature that you added. So I'm representing all the little people that want to know why you put them in IG jail, why you banned them on Facebook because of some post that you didn't agree. So I'm representing them all. We could do it live here on Fireside. We'll stream it on Facebook, even though I used to be able to stream it on Facebook, and now you did something where I have to automatically change each show. So you're making it difficult. And I usually get like 100 views on my stories. And even though I didn't actually tag you or anything, I didn't even mention your real name. I put Meta Zuckerberg and I put that I wanted to tap you out for putting me in IG jail. And I put a little laughing. You still gave that story a short reach. Like nobody saw it compared to my normal reach. So I know your algorithms. I know what you're doing. You seem more normal on Joe Rogan. You seem more like a human, especially knowing that you like to work out and everything. Because I always kind of thought you were a robot. If you like tech and you like Oculus, there's a new Oculus coming out in October, which I'm always talking about tech. So I'll be doing another show giving more details of the differences of that Oculus. But you heard it here first. Mark Zuckerberg, I challenge you to any type of match. In fact, if you want, we could do like the first round, just boxing, the second round, Muay Thai and boxing, or and the third round, Jiu-Jitsu only, or all mixed up. Whatever you want to do. And if I win, you can never put me on shadow banned or IG or Facebook jail or anybody that I know that I complained to you about, and you have to change that. And if I lose, you can ban me from all your social media platforms. Anyways, I don't really like them, but they're just good. They're good. What do you call good for the algorithm? If you put a Facebook like page, it just shows up quicker. So if you're trying to get an algorithm, that's I use you as much as you use me. You're not going to get my information for free. And thank you everybody for listening to my rant on Mark Zuckerberg. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a little short show today. I just wanted to I could see that on the podcast, at least, it's a very popular show. A lot of people tune in. They want to know kind of what's going on around the news. And I always like to just kind of review, like throughout the week, I'm going, oh, that's an interesting story. And I save it for this upcoming show. So want to share it. I hope everybody enjoyed it. I will be back next week. On Friday, I usually do 3 shows. So this is my third show. Thank you, Evan, for joining me. And looks like Natalie, Waitbot, you're always here showing support. And why don't you take us out? Everybody have a great weekend. This is Coach Ray Z, Athletic Definition, Sports and Fitness News.